Hello everyone. Today we're going to be working on editing parts and creating external references within an existing assembly file. So as you can see here, we have our universal joint assembly file created, and I'm going to want to extend the hole that exists within my female yoke into my bracket. So as you can see, if we change our transparency, we want this hole to be extended all the way through, and rather than creating measurements and tedious calculations to figure out where that hole might exist on the bracket, I can let the software do all of that hard work for me. Using top-down assembly modeling techniques, I can create external references in this bracket file that's going to reference the location of this hole in the female yoke. So we're going to change that transparency back, and I'm going to start by editing this component. So if I select my component here, I can toggle Edit Component from my Assembly tab, and as you can see here, all my components become transparent besides the bracket, which is the one I'm working on, and the bracket becomes highlighted blue in our feature design tree. So that signifies that we're working within this part file inside of the assembly file, and I can go ahead and create my extruded cut now. So I'm going to start by creating a sketch on this bottom face, create a sketch here, and now I can create a hole kind of based on what my design intent is for this part. If I want the hole to be an exact replica of location, I can just hit Convert Entities. As you can see here, the same diameter and location is projected onto our bracket. Now I want a little bit of space between this hole and the hole that I create on the bracket. So instead I'm going to use my Offset Entities tool. As you can see here, it is going to create a circle offset from our female yoke hole. I'm going to set that to an even 3 millimeters. I'm going to click OK. Now I can create my feature. I'm going to do an extruded cut and use that up to next end condition. I do want to note that if you use the through all end condition, this cut does not go through any of the other components. It only cuts through the bracket, which I'm currently working inside of. So I'm going to set that back to our up to next. I'm going to click OK. And you can see now we have our hole. If I toggle off my edit components, I'm going to return to my assembly file, and as you can see, we have our female yoke hole and a hole added for my bracket. Now if I were to make any adjustments to this hole, because it is being externally referenced, if I were to change this to, let's say, 6 millimeters and rebuild, you can see how both holes shrink for the same amount. And if I were to increase this to 12, rebuild that as well, you can see how they both expand. So this hole in our bracket is related to our female yoke hole. If I were to open up this part, you can see that our bracket maintains that hole within that part file. And if I were to look at my cut extrude here, I have this dash with an arrow. Essentially that is signifying that there is an external reference related to this feature is being driven by that external reference. Our sketches as well, but none of our other components are. We can view those within our display or delete relations, or if I were to come to my part file here, I can go down to external references. Using this pop-up, I can see what sketch or feature is being referenced and what referenced entity it is using as well. As you can see, there is also a break all and lock all button within our pop-up window. That lock all would temporarily block or freeze the references between the assembly and the part file, and the break all would permanently break any reference between those two. So if you wanted to have a permanent break between your yoke female and the bracket, you would select that break all. So that is how you create edits and external references within a part file inside of an assembly. I hope you all enjoyed and have a great day.